raise your hand if this whole running a business thing pretty much feels like making it up as you go along. Yeah, this just happened to me. I got my whole team together for 4 days down in Mexico to map out all of our strategy, everything we were gonna do in the next 12 months. And between you and me, I was heading into this with no idea. I just didn't know where I wanted to take the business. I had lost sight and lost clarity of my vision for the company. And I was stressed. And I know so many entrepreneurs that feel the same way. We put all this pressure on ourselves to have all the answers and have it all figured out. But in reality, internally, we don't know exactly where we're going or how we're going to get there. So in this video, I want to break down, how do we still lead? How do we still show up and provide the leadership that our team needs from us, even when we are still figuring things out ourselves? So my first goal with making this video is to tell you that if that's you, you are not alone. We work with hundreds of clients, and the number one thing that we work with them on is getting strategic clarity around what they actually want and where they want to take their business. So you should know that this is an incredibly common situation. And if you're feeling less than entirely clear as a leader, that does not make you a bad entrepreneur. That does not mean that you are failing your team or your business. Here's the reframe that at least is working for me right now. Our job is to not have all the answers. Our job is to build a team capable of discovering the answers. Our job is not to make every single decision. Our job is to build a team and an ecosystem where the best decisions get made. So even if we personally are in a state of uncertainty or lack of clarity, if we've done our job correctly, and I'm gonna break down exactly how to do this in this video, then our team should still be coming to the table in such a way where the decisions still get made, where the answers still get found out, where we're still able to create strategic clarity. And actually, I think that if we remove this pressure from ourselves and we remove from our job description this having it all figured out, that the answers that you come up with and the decisions that you make as a team will actually be better. Like, I think it will actually move your business forward better and faster, to relieve this pressure off of yourself and instead ask yourself the question, how do I build a decision-making machine? How do I build a team that will co-create these answers and these decisions with me? So before I break down exactly how I just did this with my team, I need to acknowledge that there is a very important first step and a very important assumption that I'm gonna be making here, which is that you have built a strong team of A players. Right? Like, your ability to bring your team into the strategic decision-making process in your business is founded on the assumption that you have a team of solid A players, of experts in their role, of people that you trust to make incredible decisions and bring expert opinions to the table. So we have to start there. Like, if we don't have the right leaders in every single role, that's the first problem to solve before we can start co-creating strategy with them, right? So if you're wrestling with, do I have the right A players, or I'm not sure if they're the right A players, or they're definitely not the right A players, but I don't know what to do about that, again, you're not alone. Our clients grapple with this all the time. So I actually created a tool for our clients that we now just make available to everyone, called the Leadership Scorecard. You can actually grab a copy of this tool down in the description. It's entirely free, and it's gonna give you the exact step-by-step walkthrough that we give to our clients when they're grappling with that problem of, like, who are the right leaders in my business? How do I level them up? And how do I figure out where the gaps are in my leadership team so I can get the right A players in place? So let's start there. Let's get the right who's on the bus. And if you don't have that, or you don't know how to do that, again, grab that free tool down in the description. That's gonna give you the best starting point. Okay, so here's the challenge in front of us, is that we wanna create a business that achieves all of our visions and our goals and our hopes and our dreams. But we don't know the exact set of decisions, and we don't know how to bring our team in to create them in order to get us there. So how do we bridge this gap? There's an exercise that we do with our clients that I call triangulation. So, Spyglass Ops, we like ourselves a good nautical theme. Imagine for a moment that your business is a ship at sea going on a voyage, right? And you are setting out towards the horizon, figuring out where are we trying to go. If you are looking at just the vast, open, empty ocean, that is a really overwhelming and hard place to make decisions from. We could go in any number of directions. We don't know where to go. We don't know where not to go. It all looks the same. And so unless you as a founder, again, have 100% clarity on exactly where you're going and exactly how to get you there, which none of us do, then it becomes really difficult to lead your team when all the options are on the table. So triangulation, I like to describe to my clients as setting markers, right? If you've ever gone sailing, a marker is like a buoy, right? It's just the thing bobbing in the water, telling you, hey, shallow water over here, or rocks over there, or a strong current over here. Don't go this way, do go this way, right? It's these markers that we're able to put on the water to start to give us some constraints around where do we go and where do we not go. So triangulation is where we sit down with our clients and we help them put markers on their map. Even if they don't have all of the answers, what every single entrepreneur I know has is positive and negative markers, right? So if I was to sit down and ask you, hey, 12 months from now, what is everything that you know to be true about your life and your business? You would actually be able to start to answer that question, right? 12 months from now, you probably have a pretty good picture of like, I want to work with these types of people. And I know I want to offer these products and these services. I know how I want it to feel when I show up to work. I want to know how I want our clients to think about us and what I want our brand and our reputation to feel like in this space. So you actually have a lot of clarity in these different categories around what you know is true and what you want your business to feel like. And then here's the part that I think most founders miss, is that we also do the negative. What do you know to not be true 12 months from now? I know that 12 months from now, I'm no longer working 80-hour weeks. Like, I know that to be true. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I know that somehow, some way, I am no longer burning myself out in this business. I get to take Friday through Sunday off to spend with my kids, right? Like, whatever your positive and negative markers are, take a moment and brain dump that down, right? What are all of the things that you know to be true and not true? What this does is that, again, if we're taking this ship on a journey and we're trying to bring our team along with us, we may not have the exact route mapped out from point A to point B. But what we do have are the markers. We have the positive and the negative constraints. And what that does is two things. Number one, it gives our team context. So it gives our team context around, hey, I don't know exactly how we're going to get there, but I have a general idea of the end point that I want us to end up. These are the constraints that I know to be true and not true. And as we're making decisions, we now have a list of criteria that we are able to check those decisions against. So for example, if we come up with an awesome marketing strategy, but that marketing strategy would require 40 hours a week from me, the founder, to do, well, that is at odds with my negative marker around my work-life balance. So we are not going to go with that marketing strategy, right? Like, it gives us a rubric against which we are able to grade and judge the decisions that get made. So even though you don't know every single decision that's going to get you there, you have a way of maintaining alignment between the decisions that get made and the version of your business that you want to build. So that's the first thing that our team needs from us. They don't need us to have all the answers, but they do need us to have clarity around what is true and not true in the vision and the version of the business that we are building. And then, of course, the second thing that they need from us is the transparency to share that with them. I am such a huge advocate that honesty and vulnerability are actually the ways to get the highest levels of performance out of our team. When we're feeling uncertain or we feel like we don't have all the answers, it can be really scary to admit that. And the last people that we're gonna admit that to is our team, right? These people that we should have all of the answers for. So again, if we flip the script on what it actually means to be a leader, and we instead tell ourselves, my job is not to have all the answers, my job is to build a team that co-creates the answers, then it becomes way less scary for us to go to them and be like, hey guys, these are the things that I know, but these are the things that I do not know. I do not have clarity around these decisions. I do not have clarity around exactly these things. And I'm bringing us together because I trust you. And I trust your expertise, and I want your input. I want your insight on where you think we should take this business and what the most critical decisions to be made are. And I promise you, when you lead with that level of transparency and that level of vulnerability, and you invite your team into the conversation and to come to the table and help you co-create it, again, if we've got the right people in these roles, they are going to love that. They are going to respect you more, they are going to trust you more, and they are going to feel and take ownership for the responsibility that you are giving them, which is, hey, for the next 3 days, I want you to show up as a business leader and business owner and help co-create where this thing is going. I have never met a person or a team that was like, thanks for the invite and all the responsibility, but no thank you, right? Like, they will only ever lean in, work harder, think harder, because you've invited them to the table from a place of vulnerability. Okay, so we've talked about creating context through triangulation. We've talked about inviting our team to the table and leading with transparency and vulnerability. Now that we've kind of set the stage and set the foundation, how do we actually lead a team discussion to arrive at these decisions and arrive at these answers? Tactically, the best piece of advice that I can give you is ask really good questions. In my experience, your team does not need a fearless leader who has all of the decisions and answers. What they need is an amazing facilitator, someone who asks incredible questions, someone who guides the conversation around those questions so that the best answers are found and the best decisions get made. So if right now you're like, wow, I really do not have all the answers, the reframe I will offer you is like, great, you don't need to. Just have all the questions. If you're prepping for your team's strategic work, a strategic intensive or like a day-long session, when you're prepping to lead your team through their strategy sessions, my prep work looks like a list of questions. A list of questions and maybe a couple of bulleted thoughts on what my opinion around those questions may be. That's all the prep work that I do heading into these leadership strategy sessions. What I'm really, really focused on is what are the right questions? What are the strongest, sharpest, most guiding questions that will allow my team to arrive at the best answers? And I genuinely believe that if I do that, if I ask the right questions, and then, very importantly, I facilitate a really strong discussion and debate around those questions, then my team will find its way to the best decision, to the best answer. So let's talk about that last piece, which is number one, we ask great questions, but then number two, we facilitate great debate. The big challenge with most teams that we work with is that the members of those teams don't actually speak up. They don't actually voice their opinion. They don't actually bring their full expertise to the table. They don't feel safe enough to disagree, to debate, to get really, really passionate about their opinion and bring the data to bear on why that opinion is right and fight for it. But if we're talking about what is the goal here, which is create the best set of decisions, how do we do that unless all voices are heard? Unless all data is looked at, unless all opinions are expressed. So our job as a leader, again, isn't to have the final answer. Our job is to build a team that feels comfortable and feels engaged and bought in enough to fight for what they believe. And then our job is to facilitate that debate, which sometimes looks like being the devil's advocate. Sometimes it looks like stirring the pot. Oftentimes it looks like just shutting up. Right? Like just shutting up as the founder, because we know that our voice carries the most weight in the room, and just going silent and creating enough space for our team to come to the table and have the discussion. And I truly believe that that is our job. It's not to have all the answers, it's to ask the best questions. It's not to make every decision, it's to foster and facilitate debate so that the best decisions get made. If we can follow this process of get the right A players onto our leadership team that we trust, offer them clarity and context through the markers that we know to be true and not true about where we want to take the business. Lead with transparency and vulnerability to invite your team into the decision-making process. Ask incredible questions that produce incredible debates and discussions, and then facilitate that debate so all expert opinions are heard and the best decision is reached. If we've done all of that, we don't need to have all the answers. We don't need to have it all figured out. We have set our team up to produce a, let's be honest, better set of decisions, better set of answers. Because instead of just our brain and us putting all this pressure on ourselves to have it all figured out, instead we have created a machine. We have brought 5 brains together instead of 1, and we've turned that into a decision-making machine that is going to produce better answers, better decisions, and ultimately and ironically, get you to your goals faster than if you just tried to figure it all out yourself. So that's my 2 cents at least. And maybe I'm wrong about all of this, but here's the cool thing, is that if you don't have any of these answers anyway, you might as well try it. Because the only alternative is to just make it up, and I think we all know that that is not the best way to get to our goals. So instead of putting that pressure on yourself and half-assing a bunch of ideas and decisions, let's instead build a decision-making machine that will get our company to our goals regardless of how clear and how convicted we are as a founder every single moment of every single day. One of those just feels way more realistic and honestly, way more fun than the other one. So remember that all of this rests on the assumption that we have an amazing A-player leadership team. That is step one of this process. I kind of skipped over that in this video. So if you do not yet have, or you're not sure that you have that A-player leadership team, then I went back and I created an entire video breakdown of how to use that leadership scorecard tool that I'm giving you below and walking through step by step how to use that tool to truly figure out who are your real A players, how do I level them up, and then who are the B players that I need to shift into a different role or ultimately need to manage off the bus. There is a full breakdown of how to use this tool and how to make that happen inside your business so that ultimately you end up with the leadership team that can make these decisions and find these answers with you. So go ahead, check it out. I will see you over there, and happy decision making.